Lil Boo was the one that I got close to first. He basically like told me everything that I know.
Lil Boo was a nut, right?
If anybody else would have did, we would trying to pistol whip them, kick them out the block how he was moving. But he Lil Boo, folks. Like, you feel me? He get away with this type of shit, but it was still, he was crazy.
Alright y'all, now this story right here, I've been meaning to do myself for a very long time, back when we used to do 5 lessons we could learn from on this channel. And if you're an OG member of the channel, then you remember that series we would do. But if you're new, then go back and check some of those videos out. Now, Lil Boo's story always been interesting to me because of how everything went down, and it's sad because these days, backdooring is at an all-time high. It's a known thing, people know about it, some glorify it, some even call themselves Backdoor'd King, King Slime, the whole 9 yards. But before, it wasn't always as known as it is now. In fact, before it was more discreetly, low profile, and in most cases you wouldn't even know that it was a setup situation, even if you was close to the people that was involved. Now, Lil Boo was a BD member who was a part of the 600 gang, also affiliated with O-Block and others. According to reports on April 3rd, 2015, 22-year-old Lil Boo was leaving a girl's house that he clearly trusted enough to go over her house when 2 cars would pull up as he was walking down the 5800 block of South King Drive, and a man would get out and proceed to fire multiple shots at Lil Boo. Now, when it was all said and done, many believed that the girl whose house he just left was the one that set him up due to the way everything transpired. Now, I'm unsure if it was ever 100% confirmed, but this reminds me of the same way Shooter Shells was shot and unalived himself. They're not sure if that was a setup neither, but clearly it had to be, because he was also leaving the girl's house early in the morning when he would approach his car, and the car would pull up as guys would get out and start firing, and I think y'all know how that turned out. They say that Shooter Shells had one of the most gruesome, craziest scenes that they seen in a long time. For them to strike so early in the morning at just the right time, it tells us that they had to know something. And same for Lil Boo. How else did they know when to strike at the perfect time and where? And the fact that they came 2 cars deep lets us know that it was pretty much premeditated. Simple as that. They know what and who they came for, and yeah. Not to mention, they say that Lil Boo was the type of guy that taught the young guys how to go on drills and be more on point. Take Opponent of 600 also said that Lil Boo taught him basically everything he knows. So to think that he was just out here loose, not paying attention, it just doesn't seem right. So now that you got a brief story of who Lil Boo is and a little backstory, let's get into the video. Shout out to Dose of Mystery. I'll leave a link pinned in the comments so y'all can check out the original video and support their platform if you like what you see. But in the meantime, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man, we out here, man. You already know what it is, man.
Man, gang.
Lil Boo.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Free Butter, man, but he gotta stop it with them damn chains, man. I know they say fake it till you make it, and Butter, I like Butter. But come on, Butter. And maybe the amount of money he's spending on these chains, he could save up a little more and get the real thing, but damn, gee,
Bro, Lil Boo was a nut, right?
Talking about it feels great.
Yeah, now you know what's crazy, my fault, before it even start, these guys, keep in mind, when he passed away, he was only 22 years old. I ain't gonna lie, when I used to see videos about him and whatever, I used to think they was way older. The way they carry on, some of them smoking marijuana, some of them smoking cigarettes, the way they act, you know, the things that they done been through, whether it's going to jail, catching bodies, all that, before they even reach the age 25. These guys are 20, 22, 18, sometimes less than that. Crazy.
On the morning of April 3rd, 2015, Jerome Anderson, known widely as Lil Boo, began his day seemingly unaware of the tragedy awaiting him. Lil Boo had built a fierce reputation in Chicago's South Side as a leader and one of the founding members of the notorious Black Disciple faction known as 600, or Brick City. That morning, Lil Boo's movements were relatively routine, but his affiliations and beefs with rival gangs loomed.
Now keep in mind, y'all, this is D-Thing, right? And this is Lil Boo. When y'all hear guys like Take Capone, Memo 600, 600 Breezy, a couple other guys, but I know y'all mainly know those guys, right? Because y'all see them and hear them more. When y'all hear about them guys scream 600, these are the originators. These are the guys that created it, right? And rest in peace to both of them.
Loomed over his daily life. On that fateful Friday, just before noon, Lil Boo was walking alone along the 5800 block of South King Drive near Chicago's Washington Park. He moved freely, seemingly unafraid of immediate threats. Yet, he was unknowingly being watched, tracked closely by individuals intent on settling a deadly score.
Now, I'm assuming that they're saying that because we don't know how true this is. It's just a rumor. They're saying that he was one of the guys that actually unalived J.H.E. Ruger's little brother, M.O.B. Scrap. Well, little or older brother, one of them. But that was his brother. They're saying that he had a hand in taking his life, allegedly. So, yeah.
At exactly 11:33 a.m. on April 3rd, 2015, the bustling routine of a typical Chicago morning shattered in an instant. A gold-colored vehicle, later identified as a Honda, abruptly pulled up alongside Lil Boo. Before he could react or seek cover, the car door swung open, and a gunman swiftly emerged. Without hesitation, the shooter fired multiple rounds, hitting Lil Boo repeatedly. The sudden barrage of gunfire echoed sharply throughout the neighborhood, causing immediate panic among passerbys.
Now, you know what's crazy? Everybody said that, he was like known as the 600 General. He was known as one of the guys that taught the younger members how to go on drills and catch hits. And like I said earlier, if y'all remember, Take Capone even vouched for him and said that he taught Take Capone everything he knew. So it was kind of like confusing how he got caught the way he did. But if you pay attention, right, I don't care who you are in this world. You can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 guns on you. If somebody catch you off guard like that and you don't have no time to respond, you could, listen, everybody try to act like they Superman, right? It don't matter. If they catch you off guard like that, it's over. And just like Shooter Shells, even though Shooter Shells was more earlier, he got caught in the morning time at 11:33. He just leaving a girl house. He probably not even paying attention. He just thinking that he's good. And it costed him his life, unfortunately.
Mortally injured, Lil Boo collapsed near the curb, his body slumped against a parked car, his head coming to rest beside one of its tires. Bystanders quickly gathering at the scene watched helplessly as blood pooled over the pavement around him. Emergency services arrived shortly after, urgently transporting him to Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Despite their best efforts, Lil Boo was pronounced deceased less than half an hour later. He was only 22 years old.
Damn.
Jerome Lil Boo Anderson was laid to rest in the city where he lived, fought, loved, and ultimately passed away.
And for y'all that don't know, right? Y'all hear how he described how he was shot and unalived and his head was by a tire? Well, when you hear guys such as FBG Duck, rest in peace, the song he did called Dead B Words, and he mentioned tire head, or any of the GDs, when you hear them say tire head this and tire head that, or Little Boo, they're talking about him. right? Because he got shot and unalived, and his head was left by a tire. So they call him Tire Head. Sounds crazy, but that's the story.
Just days after his passing, friends, family, and fellow members of his community gathered to say goodbye. The farewell service was held at 11 a.m. at Trinity United Church of Christ, a church known for hosting services for persons who passed away from gun violence. Lil Boo's passing sent immediate shockwaves throughout Chicago's drill community. His death triggered an outpouring of grief from friends, fans, and fellow gang members. Social media quickly flooded with tributes, highlighting Lil Boo's fearless personality, his musical influence, and the deepest respect he commanded within his circle. Even Chief Keef tweeted his respects. Fellow rappers and close affiliate Tay Capone openly mourned the loss, reflecting publicly on how Lil Boo had mentored him, guided him, and even physically challenged him daily, preparing him for survival in the ruthless environment they called home.
He showed me the ropes, folks. Everything I know is because of him. So every time he feel like I'm doing something, he didn't show me or teach me or like directly him and D-Thing. He wanna punish me about it, like on some fight, bro. But we used to fight about every little thing, bro. I swear to God, any little time he catch me walking with my head down, he'll bust me.
Capone described Lil Boo as more than just a friend. He was a protector and a guiding force who had shown him the ways of the streets.
Lil Boo was the one that I got close to first. He basically like taught me everything that I know. And D-Thing, like, actually when me and D-Thing first met, we had a problem with each other. But Lil Boo was like the nigga that told me everything, like, man.
Yet, Lil Boo's legacy was sharply divided by loyalty and rivalry. While those who loved him expressed sorrow, his enemies saw the tragedy as a victory.
He said Lil Boo got a lot of shots, Stello got a lot of shots, N-word, we got a lot of shots, hashtag shooters coming soon.
Quickly seizing the opportunity.
Oh, keep in mind too, this is Crump. Y'all remember Crump, right? This is Crump. He was known, literally known as a scorekeeper and a guy that just troll. And he's not known for being a shooter himself. That's the crazy part. He's known for trolling the people that got shot and keeping score, aka letting you know who got shot, sometimes who did what. But at the end of the day, Mubu Crump was mostly known for fighting, not really shooting. However, he was still considered a problem because of his trolling.
To mock his passing, rival gang members openly taunted Lil Boo's passing.
Wow. So as y'all see, right, his head right there by the tire, and that's where the name Tire Head actually comes from, which is crazy.
Coining the infamous nickname Tire Head after a graphic photo showing his lifeless body against a car tire surfaced online. This disrespectful nickname rapidly spread on social media.
Yo, do y'all see these? Yo, it's not funny, but when you look at this, bro was Lil Boo for Halloween, hashtag Tire Head. Boy really got a tie on it. And let me tell you, right? I always say this. It's not that we don't have sympathy for certain things, but y'all gotta remember that a lot of these guys are the ones that participated in the streets. Not to mention, they also inflicted that same kind of pain, right? So when it comes full circle, it just is what it is. And yeah,
becoming a brutal shorthand used by rivals to degrade his memory in drill lyrics, tweets, and Instagram posts. In one particular disturbing act, a member of 051, Young Money, posted an image online holding a bicycle tire next to his head, directly mocking the circumstances of Lil Boo's final moments. Almost immediately after Boo was gunned down, whispers spread through Chicago's gang circles. The most persistent and explosive of these rumors revolved around Lil Boo's controversial relationship with a young woman known on the street as Booby. Booby wasn't just any girl from the neighborhood. She held high rank within.
She said at JMoney064, and he's another one that got unalive. For y'all that don't know, he was an O Block member as well. J Money, you hear him talked about in a lot of records and a lot of diss songs as well. But she said, if you caught me lacking, you should have blue on Tuga. Ain't worried about ish. Dude, you funny to me. I'm that B-word now, bye. Now, also, when you hear about females in the drill culture or on the drill scene, or just females, period, getting unalive, back in the days, it used to be a thing where you'd be like, oh, man, you know, women and kids are off limits. But no, it's not like that no more. These days, them same women and kids that we used to have respect for, now they're the ones doing hits. Kids, they're 12, 13, 14, 15, and they talking about catching bodies. Females, they play parts in many ways. Let me tell you why. You have women that would also catch a body and tell you, but then you got the ones that's not catching bodies. Well, they still are in a sense. They're setting these guys up. That's just as bad. You acted as an accessory. You the reason why he came over here. You the reason why they know his location. Fellas, y'all gotta be careful with these girls. Too many guys have been taken out due to girls.
Jaro City, a rival gang faction closely aligned with 051 Young Money.
Just so people understand the gravity of the situation, Booby is not a little chick from the ops. She like Lil Boo if he was a girl from over there. Like, that's how much rank she got over there. Like, she got as much rank as he do in our hood over there. Like, she worth is that much to them than he is to us.
In the eyes of many gang affiliates.
So as you see, like he said, a lot of people only know when it comes to Chicago, they only hear about K.I., right? K.I., the female assassin, K.I. this, K.I. was doing that. But no, there's a lot more girls that, one, just haven't passed away, so you don't hear their story. But then two, you don't hear about them because they're not that loud. Back in 2014 and 2013 and 12, when everybody was on Twitter saying they gonna do this and taking pictures with guns, so it was easier to depict who's who. These days, the feds came and did a sweep. They picking people up left and right, so people don't want that same attention as they once did. So you may not hear about these females that's putting in work, but trust me, trust me, there's a lot of females out there that's catching a lot of bodies, allegedly.
Lil Boo's decision to openly pursue this forbidden Romeo and Juliet romance had been reckless at best, suicidal at worst.
But I'm gonna be 100. We all used to do like, I'm gonna be 100. This shit more common than you think, for. But what's not common is like how he was doing it, for. He was going against the grain. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
street chatter quickly zeroed in on Booby. Some believed she had been pressured or coerced by her gang to set Lil Boo up, to lure him into a vulnerable position, or leak crucial information about his movements. After all, Booby had a known history of being involved in gang setups, earning respect in her own circle precisely for being adept at these so-called backdoors.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So, just because she didn't take a life physically, don't mean that she didn't take a life. And when y'all see these girls in these groups and these gangs, that's what they play the position for. That's why you got to be careful. And like Take Capone said, a lot of them used to do that. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with you being from one side and you fall in love with a girl from the next side. No. Like when y'all see the THF Muda, what was it? Yeah, Muda? I don't think he THF no more. They done kicked him out, but Muda. When Muda and Blazing Dog was dealing with each other, that was a recipe for disaster. Each sides right? He done fell out with THF behind that whole situation. And now look, him and Blaze are not even together. So you just lost your little pass into your hood and you lost your girl. So now you just there. So was it all worth it? No. But what I'm saying is a lot of times, let's say she rep that side, you rep this side. You think, oh no, that's my baby. She'll never do that to me. Let you get her mad enough. Right? Let you get her mad enough. You see how Blazing Doll started talking about setting Muda up, backdoor and all type. You see what I'm saying? I don't got time to play with my life like that. I don't know about these other guys. I do not have the time to play with my life like that. You only get one of these things. This ain't the video games, bro.
Ambushes where these persons are betrayed by someone they trust.
She low-key was like backdoorish, you know what I'm saying? So she had some points, like not points like she was smoking niggas, but just like, you know,
Right.
she had a little, you know, cachet to her over there because she a backdoor.
Yet, those close to the situation, including Tay Capone, paint a more complicated picture.
Probably on some and then she went on some even and that's how they, you know, they ran into each other after that. But I know folks, you know, it happens a lot for you. Really low key, like Lil Boo was one of them niggas. So he had like this macho man mentality about himself. Like he always want to do some shit he feel like other niggas couldn't pull. Like, and not to say like niggas couldn't pull a Booby ass. I'm saying like niggas couldn't pull shit like this off. Like he thought a nigga couldn't pull that off with that type of op bitch, bro. And he thought he was like, yeah, nigga. He had her, whatever she was doing that was good. Like I think she had a traffic. He was in a car. Like everything she did have, she was giving the folk. Like, so he was like showing us too. Like, yeah, boy, y'all thought this bitch was gonna set me up, boy. I got this wrapped around my finger. You feel me? Like he was enjoying that. Like, look, I told y'all so. Look, you know.
Capone himself.
You know what that was? She rocked him to sleep. Right? She rocked him to sleep. Either that or she really did have love for him, but her love for her side was more stronger. Right? But you know what happens? Exactly what he just mentioned. Pride, ego. Doing things you know you don't got no business doing, but you're only doing it because you want to prove a point. You want to look cool. See what I'm saying? I always tell y'all it's a thin line between being smart and having power. Because yeah, he was doing what he was doing, but it came to bite him in the end. A smart person would have said, you know what, I could do that. I don't want to. It's too much of a risk. I could do it, but it's too much of a risk.
Openly stated that Lil Boo was too in love and acting stupid, refusing to acknowledge the danger he was placing himself in.
When you start wifing them and getting all dizzy up here about them and shit to the point where you going on the ops to see them and sneaking in and out of their buildings and you around her with no pipe, like what? Gee.
Yeah.
Even when Boo.
You hear what he said? You know how much guy, I think 051 Melly used to say that all the time, how he used to sneak back and forth, in and out of O Block to see a girl. Right? And not just, a lot of these guys do that. They go to their ops. I forgot the other guy's name. There's another guy that lost his life because he went into the ops territory to go check a girl. I don't know. Let me tell you, it ain't that much Uchi Wally in the world, bucko. Listen, if it's that serious, I go pay. I go pay in a heartbeat. How much? 100? It's not that much. The Uchi is not that good to where I put my life at risk. Because think about it. If you don't got no life, how you going to get Uchi? I could leave her Uchi alone and still have my life to go get other Uchi. I can't lose my life and go get other Uchi. I don't know what they're doing in the other world. That's something different. But from prior to my knowledge right now, I can't lose my life and get Uchi. Crazy.
Boo's fellow gang members tried to intervene, fabricating stories or spreading rumors about Booby's supposed infidelity or betrayal. Lil Boo brushed off their concerns.
Lil Boo he was, but he had the cachet to do it though. Like to do it how he did it. If anybody else would have did, we would around to pistol whip them, kicked him out the block how he was moving. But he Lil Boo, folks. Like, you feel me? He get away with this type of, but it was still, he was crazy because they was in love for real. It wasn't no fake love. Like, them used to try to get in Booby head about him, backdoor at him and doing shit to him because he was a real gangster. He was him up.
He simply wouldn't believe that Booby could harm him. Stubbornly loyal in his affection despite clear threats from all sides. Ultimately, despite intense speculation, no concrete evidence emerged publicly that Booby directly set up Lil Boo. However, the mere suspicion cast a permanent shadow over her reputation, fueling resentment among Lil Boo's allies and deepening the animosity between 600 and rival gangs. Booby herself wouldn't escape this tangled web of the streets and suspicion unscathed. In a tragic and perhaps inevitable twist, she was shot and hit just a few months after Lil Boo's passing.
Yep. Yeah, you know what's crazy? I didn't even know who this was, but I knew that this part was coming. You know why? Because it comes to a point to where you may convince one person or two or a couple that you had nothing to do with it, but it's always going to linger in somebody's mind. Always. It's always going to linger. Like, yo, listen, he was messing with you. Whether you got people that's going to say, well, whether you had something to do with it or not, you should have made sure he was good more. Right? It sounds ignorant, it sounds crazy, but it is what it is.
Silencing forever any opportunity to definitively answer whether she was a conspirator or simply another person whose life was caught in the merciless crossfire of gang warfare. Beyond Booby, a slew of other names quickly emerged as potential culprits in Lil Boo's hit. Lil Boo had a violent reputation.
So, you know, nothing but the highest honor, you know what I'm saying? And when we first jumped in the streets, Lil Boo it seemed like he been county bound my whole life, you know what I'm saying? Because he was going to jail back in the day.
In the chaotic aftermath of his passing, speculation surged through online forums, rap lyrics, and hushed conversations on Chicago's South Side, where street justice often precedes police investigations. Central to the swirling rumors was the notorious gang faction, 051 Young Money. Longtime adversaries of Lil Boo and the 600 set. At the heart of these whispers was a name feared across multiple neighborhoods: Yarmel 051 Melly Williams. Melly, widely regarded as one of Chicago's most infamous shooters, was reportedly rumored to have been the trigger man who ambushed Lil Boo in broad daylight.
You know what's crazy? As I always tell y'all, Melly, he didn't rap, right? He didn't, nothing of what a lot of these rappers or people that want to be known from Chicago is doing or has done. And somehow his name will forever ring throughout the drill culture. You see, like, he has the reputation of somebody that rap. You would have thought he's like the Little Durk of Chicago in his own right. And that's for the people that know, because it's like, whenever you hear stories, it's like you can't hear stories without hearing 051 Melly. That's all you hear. He didn't rap, he didn't sing, you know, none of that. But you always hear this man's name. He has a title that a lot of these guys that are out there right now are fighting for. Now, whether you consider that good or bad is totally up to you, but it's just crazy how much times you hear this man's name throughout all these drill videos and crazy.
Alongside Melly, another individual named Motor, affiliated with Jaro City, was also rumored to be involved. In the hours following Lil Boo's passing, a now archived tweet exchange gained traction online as alleged circumstantial evidence of gang movement surrounding the hit. The tweet in question are between two accounts: at Fat's Big Brother, believed by some to be Melly, and at Fat's World Ario, associated with G Ario. aka a Rio of 051 Young Money. At 11:50 a.m. on April 3rd, 2015, roughly 15 to 20 minutes after the shooting occurred, @Fat's big brother tweeted, "S cool, sliding waiting on you to pop out." The message could be interpreted as Melly telling a Rio that he had just slid, slang for carrying out a hit or moving on a target, and was waiting for a Rio to come outside.
It could be interpreted anyway, right? Because it could mean that, I'm sliding, but I can't see it as meaning that he just slid. Because he didn't say, yo, just slid or just X, Y, and Z. He said he's currently sliding. And then not to mention, sliding can mean that you're looking for the ops, or it can mean you just in traffic. Sliding, I'm in traffic, whatever. But he didn't say, yo, I just slid, right? Previous pretense. He's not saying that, yo, I didn't know. He's saying I'm sliding. So I don't know. It's up to you.
Timing of the tweet, so close to Lil Boo's death, has raised eyebrows, with some Reddit users and drill followers interpreting it as a tacit reference to the hit on Lil Boo having just gone down. A Rio responded with HML Joe, which loosely translate to hit my line Joe, a casual invite to continue the conversation privately. This adds fuel to speculation that they may have been coordinating or discussing street business, potentially even the aftermath of the hit.
Now, I heard this, right? I heard this before when he said facts. He was arrested the same day in that car. I've heard that before. I don't know how true that is, y'all. Y'all got to probably go into the archives of whoever. But I did hear that Ario, that same day, was arrested in that same car. The gold car that they was referring to that pulled up on Lil Boo. So take it for how you want. Doesn't mean he was the driver. Who knows? But he, they say if it barks like a dog, it's a dog. If it quack like a duck, it's a duck.
Still, nothing in this exchange proved direct involvement. In fact, some Reddit users argue this tweet actually suggests a Rio wasn't involved, since Melly appeared to be informing him of events rather than including him.
See?
Years after Lil Boo's passing, one of his affiliates, Hookah 600, delivered a bar in a song that reignited speculation around who may have been involved, caught Lil Boo's killer in traffic, and let him have it.
Call Lil Boo out in traffic, let him have it.
The line was widely interpreted as a direct reference to Motor, a member of Jarrow City, and one of the names often linked to Boo's hit. While Motor was never publicly identified as the shooter, some believe he was the driver of the getaway car. In 2019, Motor was reportedly hit alongside fellow Jarrow City member Marcus Clark, also known as Slide. Adding further heat to the street rumors was a social media post made by Lil Boo's sister, Corey Jones.
Let's go back. It says Melly unalive Lil Boo. When Melly, 600 posted Lil Boo, and Lil Boo whole family was dissing Melly heavy the day he passed away. The thing y'all missing is it says the narrative. It may have been more shooters, but Melly is confirmed his unaliver. Y'all think Melly did everything? Apparently so does Lil Boo family. What you getting at? Yeah, so this is a Reddit post. This is a Reddit post. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, being a detective these days is pretty easy because all you have to do is go on Reddit and then just put two and two together, what makes sense, what doesn't, put your evidence there, blah, you got a case. Right? But some people said it was one car, some people say it was two. I know the reports say one car, but I've seen other outlets say it was two cars. Who knows?
A media post made by Lil Boo's sister, Corey Jones, on the very day that 051 Melly was shot and hit in 2019. Hours after the news broke of Melly passing in the Woodlawn neighborhood of Chicago's South Side, Corey shared a report from a legal help page announcing the shooting.
young man. So tell Lil Boo what up. Simple as that. Now, let me tell y'all another thing, right, that I've noticed doing this video stuff. It's a lot of things from the outside where we got questions. They already have the answers, but they don't put certain business on social media. So a lot of times we only know what they put on social media, but if they don't put it, we're not going to know. But we done got emails and people hitting us up wanting to put certain information out. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, because sometimes it be two police. I ain't gonna lie. But a lot of times when things happen and y'all may not know what's going on, the people that's in tune really do know what's what. But y'all gotta remember, this is unalivings that's happening. You know, people getting shot. They don't want to attach their face to that because next you know, they may be the next one put on a shirt or something. So a lot of them keep the information inside, and rightfully so.
Her caption was simple, but loaded with meaning. Tell Lil Boo what up.
Simple.
The implication was immediately understood by those familiar with the ongoing feud between 600 and 051 Young Money. While Corey didn't explicitly name Melly as her big brother's hitman, the timing and tone of the post suggests that she, and possibly the rest of Boo's family, believe Melly had been involved in his 2015 hit.
Yeah.
600 Breezy, a fellow member of the 600 faction, had made a public statement suggesting...
Oh, see? You hear what he said? Lil Boo smoked your homie and your homie and your homie. It took 4 shooters in a setup to even see, bro. Right? It took 4 shooters in a setup to even see, bro. So at the end of the day, I think that tells us, you know, everything we need to know.
A fellow member of the 600 faction had made a public statement suggesting that at least one of Lil Boo's assailants remains alive. Discussions on platforms like Reddit have highlighted Breezy's claim. In the weeks and months following the hit, law enforcement appeared to be making quick headway, but progress stalled almost as fast as it began. On the same day Lil Boo was gunned down, police located a gold Honda, the vehicle witnesses described as being used in the hit. It was found parked on 51st Street, and in the driver's seat sat Ario, a known member of the 051 Young Money faction. Ario was promptly arrested and initially charged with Lil Boo's hit, a move that briefly raised hopes among Anderson's family and allies that justice might be on the horizon.
See, so this is like 50-50 though, because it could mean he did it, but his alibi could also be, yo, listen, I got this car from my boy, right? I got this car from so-and-so. But even though that's a little sketchy, what they'll probably say is, well, listen, I don't care who you got the car from, you're going to be charged with X, Y, and Z because this car was implemented in the unaliving. But like I said, it depends on your lawyer, it depends on how hard they willing to go. I don't know. But this also don't mean that Ario was the one that fired the shots, y'all. It could also mean that he was the getaway driver and somebody else was the shooter. Who knows? But he was caught. Let's be very clear. He was caught in the same car that was implemented in the unaliving.
But those charges didn't stick.
See?
The case quickly unraveled when, for reasons never publicly disclosed, the hit charge against Ario was quietly dropped. He was later charged in connection with a different hit, that of THF Raheem, a separate incident tied to other gang-related violence. Whether the evidence against Ario in the Lil Boo case was insufficient, mishandled, or simply redirected is still unknown. The police never formally announced another suspect. The passing of Jerome Lil Boo Anderson remains officially unsolved.
All right, that's pretty much it, y'all. Here's the thing, right? Here's what I don't get, especially with everything that's been going on recently in these past years where they're getting jail footage, they're getting this footage. This man was unalived at 11, they said 33 a.m., and it was in a busy area, it looked like. Right? I'm sure there's some type of surveillance that was put up on whether it was a a low-income apartment or a store or something. Why haven't we seen any footage yet? Right? Why was Ario allowed to be released? Maybe they got the footage and just haven't released it, and the footage shows that Ario wasn't the one either driving at the time or the shooter. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't clear enough to pin him to it. Who knows? But it is strange that they did let Ario go, for one, and it is strange that there's no camera footage. Alright, that's pretty much it. Oh, they didn't mention this, right? They didn't mention that at one point in time, I think Lil Boo, aka Lil B, whatever, Lil Boo was also a GD or hung around GDs. And this shouldn't be a surprise because majority of these guys did. They either was affiliated with the GD somehow, they was GD, turned BD and whatever. So maybe it was some tension because of that. I don't know. Here's what I also think, right? Even if he wasn't set up by the girl, if they know that they're messing around with each other, how easy is it to they know where she live, she ain't gotta set them up. They know at some point in time, at some given day, he's gonna be at her house. If they really want him, they just gotta camp out her house for however long. You know at some point he's either gonna be arriving or leaving. So, I don't know, y'all. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about all this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm gonna keep on dropping. And I'm out.